is Knitter's Got a Knit podcast, stitch number 19.
19, wow.
Yeah.
We're coming up on a year pretty soon, aren't we?
I think so. I don't know the exact date, but something like that. We are podcasting from a new location today.
We are actually at work. This is our knitting time that we knit every day at work. So we're going
in this room.
In this room, we're going to try to kind of piggyback our podcast on our lunch hour, so that to free up the weekends.
Yes.
So we're going to try it for a while and see how it goes, and
then maybe we can be a little bit more regular with us bringing it to
you
without us, both having busy weekends and busy things to do.
So we're going to give it a try and see. So y'all let us know what you think. We know that our lovely background here, but
it's not as nice, but it's okay.
We may play around with it. We have a beautiful view out here with trees and stuff that we might try to do at one point, but Carrie was concerned about lighting.
It's kind of a gray day today. It's a little cloudy, so there's not as much light as there usually is in here. And quite honestly, I think the lighting in this room is just bad all around. But it's also meant to bring shades down and do presentations. And
I mean, it is dark in here.
Nature.
If I'm knitting on black at lunch, I usually have my headlight on, and I mean, we got windows on the one whole side of the room. But anyway, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, if you're returning, thanks for coming back. If you're new, thanks for checking us out. My name is Carrie. On Ravelry, my name is I'm a Knitfomaniac, and on Instagram, it's just Knitfomaniac.
And I'm Darlene. Yeah, thanks. Forgot my name. Bags by Awesome Granny on Instagram and Awesome Granny on Ravelry. And I actually tried to change my name in Ravelry. I wanted to change it to Bags by Awesome Granny, and it was too long.
Yeah,
I was like,
too long.
Man.
Sorry.
So yeah. But anyway,
so she's doing lace over there. So I guess I'll start a little bit with my week.
I'll just put it down because I'm not going to be able to
my couple of weeks
concentrate on it. And I finished my hat, so I don't have anything I guess I need to cast Shallahs hat on. Okay, thanks.
She's gonna knit on my other sock.
Is it just regular?
It's just regular, plain on knit.
Well,
magic
right.
loop.
I can do that.
Magic loop, size 1.5 needles.
Okay.
Go round and round and round.
Yay, thank you.
And that's yarn that you got me, so you'll get to feel it.
It's really pretty.
I like it.
It's
very pretty.
So
we're both knitting on my Harry Potter socks. That's a whip. It's my podcast knitting, and Darlene needs to start some socks for podcast knitting.
I really do, and because I finished my, usually I have hats. Y'all all know I make a lot of hats, and I finished Casey's hat, and I will show it here in a little bit. So the only thing I'm really, really working on right now is
her fade.
My fade that I really want to get. I wanted to have it finished by today, but life got in the way, and that didn't happen.
Yeah,
so,
life usually does get in the way. It's a beautiful fade though, and she's not on a straight knit part. She's in the lace section, so it's not quite podcast knitting.
So, did you by any chance see Shallahs her Facebook post this morning about going to work and having the argument with the raccoon?
No, I didn't. This will be new to me.
So she said, you've worked at a campground too long when you get to work and you have an argument with a raccoon. So I was like, okay, I gotta hear this story.
Yeah, let's hear this.
And so she said she got to work this morning, and I guess somebody had put trash out on her porch of her store. And when she got there was a raccoon in the trash.
Of course.
And she said that she told him, well, hi, raccoon,
Mr. or Mrs. Raccoon.
You need to leave. And she said this raccoon had this biscuit in its hand and looked at her and shook his biscuit at her. And she said she told him, don't shake your biscuit at me, and you need to leave. And she said that he shook his biscuit at her again, and she told him, she said, don't make me shoot you. Because Shallahs has this thing. She wants to get a canoe and cut it in half and get 2 raccoons taxidermied and have them paddling in this canoe on her wall.
Alrighty.
And so she told this raccoon, you need to leave or I'll shoot you.
And taxidermy.
And put you on my wall.
Put you on my wall.
And he left.
Oh, okay. He understood. Don't make me shoot you.
Don't make me shoot you. But she said he shook his biscuit at me. So.
That girl has the most interesting life, I tell you.
It was pretty funny.
That is funny. Shake your biscuit at me. That is funny.
Oh.
Paige did not have such an exciting couple of weeks. She had her purse stolen a while back. She went out, I don't know, to a club or a bar. I don't know what 22-year-olds do, but I had Antonio, and it was my normal time to have Antonio. And so she goes out with her friends, Biz and Sam. Sam's a girl, and I think Tara even went. I'm not 100% sure, but Biz was running late. Bizzle is Paige's best friend. Her name is Brienne Bizzle. Her last name is really Bizzle. That's really her last name, and so we just call her Biz or Bizzle. And so Biz was running late, and when Biz got there, I think she got there at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, that's when she got there, and she said, "Paige, your window's broken on your car." And Paige is like, "No, it's not." And she's like, yeah, it is. So Paige had left her purse in the back seat. They broke Antonio's window, which is the back passenger window. That's where Antonio's car seat is. He still has a booster car seat, even though he's 6. But he likes it, and we like having it in there. And I have one in my car too. But and took her purse, and she was pretty bummed. And she calls me at 2:19, so a little bit before 2:30. 2:19 in the morning. Those are those phone calls you do not like to get as a parent.
Tell her, stay at home.
Woke up in the middle of the night, and I'm scared that it's another car accident, because she just had a car accident in December. And that was the last middle of the night phone call that I got, was December. So I was like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "I'm fine, but they stole my purse." And I said, "What are you doing leaving your purse in the car?" She said, "Well, you know, we went inside, and she has her phone, and on the back of her phone case, it has like this little opening. And in that opening is room for like an ID and a credit card. There is room for a mirror, but I think she took the mirror out, so there's no mirror there." And so she had her, her debit card to her bank account and her ID, because they still card her. She's only 22, and her phone. So everything else was stolen. Her wallet.
But she didn't have any credit cards in her wallet, did she?
She had one credit card in her wallet to Security Service Federal Credit Union, and the thieves did charge $400 at mostly corner stores and eBay. But all things.
But they
the bank is
caught it.
The bank has put it as fraud and has refunded her money. Put it back in. It was still impending or whatever, and all the great stuff that banks do when they have fraud or whatever. And so she's okay with that. She had to go to the bank the next day and get it. I think they closed her entire account and opened a new one, because in her wallet, when she opened the account, even her checking account that went to a debit card where she had the debit card, she owned she had it in possession.
But that's it. Was that at Security also, or Randolph?
It was at Security also. She got mad at Randolph a while back.
Oh, okay.
And so in her wallet was just like this clear card, which has like her name and the routing number and the account number. It's like what they give you. It's like laminated, and they give it to you like the day you open your account. That was in her wallet. They asked her, "Where is that card?" She said, "It's in my wallet." They said, "We're closing your entire account." She goes, "But I have my debit card." They didn't use my debit card. She said, "We're closing your checking account?" Even though she doesn't have checks. That girl wouldn't know how to write a check if her life depended on it. And so they closed it all, and she had to go to the bank the next day in person and open it up.
That's such a pain.
It is a pain. And I think, she says, "I don't have anything to put in my purse now." I was like, "Do you want to use one of my purses?" Because I'm a purse hoe. I have tons of purses. She's like, "I don't have anything to put in it." So
because she had her makeup bag and everything.
She doesn't really carry her makeup, because she gets fairly expensive makeup, and carrying it around isn't like eyeshadow and blush.
She probably has lipstick.
But she did have like her favorite lipstick, and probably like maybe a pair of eyelashes. I don't know.
Or a compact or
brush,
something. Small things.
Yeah, small things. She usually gets like Victoria's Secret like little misting spray. It's not really perfume, but it's like perfume. I don't know what that stuff is called. She probably had a bottle of that
like a body
in there.
mist.
And she probably had a deodorant in there. She usually carries deodorant. She carries big purses like me, but she doesn't carry them in everywhere. She has kind of a thicker wallet, and then she carries that wallet usually. Like if she's going to H-E-B, she will usually leave her purse in the car and take that wallet in. And I'm like, then you don't need a purse.
No, and you know, that is the downside of driving an SUV. And I mean, I drive an SUV too, you know, so I'm not dogging on SUVs. But that is the downside of having an SUV, that, you know, if you leave, like I take my work laptop home every day, and I have thought about, you know, like if I stop and run in the grocery store or run in Walmart or somewhere, you know, I try to put my laptop as hidden as possible, but there's just not any good place to hide anything in an SUV.
There's not.
You know?
I mean, the one difference with Paige's SUV is pretty messy. Darlene's SUV is pretty clean.
Oh.
But, you know, Paige has a 6-year-old child in it, so he, like, you know, drops French fries and Legos and, you know, things of that nature. And whenever I send her home with stuff, I'm like, here, I washed Antonio's clothes. He had quite a lot accumulating here. So, you know, that bag was still, like, in there or whatever. But, you know, they're not going to take that stuff. So she usually will have, like, a blanket or something for Antonio in the back that she can cover stuff with. But she must have not covered her purse enough and broke the back window.
No,
I got her purse.
That's terrible. So maybe next time she goes, she'll just leave the purse at home and take the...
And so some people are probably wondering why she called me, just to tell me that she got her purse stolen. Well, whenever Paige when she was younger, like first started driving at 16, I told her if she was ever in a car accident, she could not leave. She had to call the police for a police report, because her brother had gotten burned once and he left without a police report. And then later the person that he hit was claiming all this stuff that didn't happen because they didn't get a police report and that person lied and whatever. So I told her, I said, you can never leave a car accident without getting a police report, or call me and I'll tell you, you know, how important it is, whatever. And so she was calling to see if she needed a police report. She says, do I need a police report? First I had to ask her, what purse is it? Because we do have some purses that are worth more than our deductible. And she told me it was, I think it was her Calvin Klein big one. And I said, no, that the window and the purse together would not be worth, like, I think our deductible is $501. I said, so no, there's no need for a police report. Of course, Security Service asked for one, and she called to see what she needed to do to have one or whatever, but Security Service also saw that her window was broken, so I guess they knew she wasn't lying.
Yeah, bless her heart, that just stinks.
It does stink. It does stink. So, but that's done and over with.
Oh, I mean, it's terrible. I hate that for her, but, you know, it's one of those things, I guess, you know, lesson learned.
It's a lesson learned. And you know what? It could have been a lot worse. She could have not had her ID. She could have not had her phone. It could have, all of that stuff could have been.
That's what I was worried about, was her new iPhone 10 being in her purse. And I thought that's just what you need.
That's just what
for
I
that
need.
to get
But
sold.
I have that on insurance, so that
So I
would
guess
have
that
been a
would
good
have been
thing.
all right.
But, you know, I think it would have been her second claim for the year, or the second claim on the account or whatever, and then I think you pay a higher deductible. So, but her phone was fine, so
that's
no
good.
problem. But the only thing that she still needs to get is a Social Security card, because her Social Security card was in there, and so she needs to contact them. And I said, keep that at home. You don't. She recently bought a house, which was why she had it with her, and she just hadn't put it back away. She doesn't have like a safe at her house yet, or like a place for important paperwork. She's 22. She doesn't think of that stuff yet. Yeah. You know, so she had it with her because we just bought the house in October. But
well, Shallahs, her family, they have been through the sick animals lately. She had, so, you know, she has chinchillas, or Trenton, my grandson, has chinchillas. Well, he had one of the chinchillas that got a eye infection, and Shallahs don't know whether he was fighting through the bars of the cage with another chinchilla and she scratched his eye, or if it was an infection. She don't know what caused it, but he had an eye thing, and it got real matted, and she had to like shave around his eye, like shaved it.
Oh, that would have scared me myself.
And then she was like, every day she was having to like get the gunk out of his eye, and like, oh, I know I can't stand eyeball stuff. It just grosses me out.
That's like my dad.
Oh, I just can't. I mean, in fact, if we watch a show like Criminal Minds, Bruce will be like, he'll read the description. Well, I don't think it has anything to do with eyeballs, so we can watch it. Because, I mean, I cannot stand eyeballs. I just can't stand it. Anyway, she called her vet, and it was going to be $350 just to walk in the door to see the exotic pet person.
Alrighty.
Shallahs was like, I'm pretty sure I can doctor this chinchilla back to health. I'm either going to cure him or kill him. Not sure which, but she went to the feed store there in New Braunfels, and she got some. At first, she bought penicillin, and then she started doing research, and penicillin is not good for chinchillas. So she took the penicillin back and got a different antibiotic, and she was giving him antibiotics every day, giving him antibiotic shots every day, and cleaning his eye out every day, and now he's fine.
He's fine.
Vet York.
Ready to shake biscuits at her.
Yeah. And then her chocolate lab. So my son-in-law has their RV down at the coast. Well, the RV park that he's at undoubtedly had a really bad flea problem.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. And so, you know, they had to like take care of the RV and stuff. And well, as a consequence, the dogs were down there and they came home with fleas. And Shallah, you know, our dog, we have Susie on this stuff that's, you know, she would get it from the vet, and it's a flea and tick pill that she takes every month. But Shallah, you know, she has 3 dogs, and 2 of them are big dogs, and that stuff is very expensive.
It's very expensive.
So she gave, you know, got the flea and ticks medicine, you know, bath, and gave all the dogs a bath, got all the fleas off of them, and then she put flea collars on all 3 of them. And I told her, I said, Shallah, be really careful doing that, because I know my boss, Brenda, her pit bull died from a flea collar.
Wow. I didn't know Brenda ever had a pit bull.
She had a Pomeranian and a pit bull. And so I told Shallahs, I said, just be careful. And she was like, okay. And well, Levi, the chocolate lab, got really sick. I mean, like, he was lethargic, and like he, you know, he was just getting.
You hate it when your babies are like that.
I mean, he was so bad, Shallahs was taking him to work with her so that she could, like, she just knew he
watch
was.
him.
She thought he was going to die, and she didn't want him to die by himself, so she was taking him to work with her. Well, one night she said that I was laying on the floor with him, and I was petting him, and they know that he has a cancerous tumor, so you know they know that they're going to lose him to that, and you know, but they don't want him to, you know, go any sooner than he's, you know, has to. And she said, I was laying on the floor with him, and I took that flea collar off of him because I was petting him, and I didn't want I didn't want to pet that gross flea collar. She said the next morning she woke up and he was 100% better.
So is the flea
And
collar.
she called the vet, and she was like, could this be what was wrong with him? And the vet said yes, that it is a, you know, I mean, it's a poison. You're putting a poison ring around your dog's neck. And the vet said that there's a, you know, maybe 10% of the dogs are going to have that reaction to those, but the rest of the dogs will do fine. So Shallah took them off all 3 of her dogs. And now he's fine. He's just fine as he can be. So,
well, that reminds me, Paige, Precious has to have her trifexas. Precious also gets a flea, tick, heartworm. It's like all 3 in one pill. I know you said Susie got sick from that.
Yeah, Susie has to have the heartworm separate from the flea and tick because she can't tolerate and so Bruce will give her, like, for breakfast he'll give her one of them, and then for supper that night he'll give her the other one. And she tolerates it that way, but she can't take it all together.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a bad deal. I've had sick dog, sick chinchilla. So, but did I tell you? No, I told you, but I'll tell you again. The crazy geese story.
This is crazy.
This is
absolutely crazy.
This is the most insane thing y'all are ever going to hear. So where Shallah works, she works in the hill country, is what we call it down here. It's an area that has lots of trees and rivers and stuff, and she manages a huge campground. I mean, this thing is
it's pretty.
It's beautiful, and it's huge. This campground, you know, they have thousands of people there every weekend and stuff. Well, she also has monthly people that live in their RVs, and they pay by the month. Well, she has this one guy, and I forgot what his name is, but so let me back up. She had some plumbing problems out there the last week, and she had this plumbing company from here in San Antonio. I'm not going to say their name, but there was a big, well-known plumbing company here in San Antonio that has the contract to do the plumbing work at Camp Waco.
And it's septic, so they have a lot of plumbing work.
They have a lot of plumbing work. So Shallah had to get the plumbing people to come out, and they they were working on the plumbing, and one of Shallahs, there was 5 or 6 men out there, or plumbers that was working on this. And one of Shallah's monthly people that lived there was leaving to go to work, and the sun was in his eyes, and he didn't see these geese, whatever you call them, walking down the road. And I've seen these geese, and they're usually like in a big pack of, 20 or so, and they think they own the place. They in fact, they'll come up to Shallah's store, and they'll like honk until she like gets enough of it and opens bread and gives it to them so they'll eat and go away.
Yeah. I've heard them. And not there, but I've heard them.
So this guy, he accidentally ran over 3 geese. One of them, it just broke its leg or something, and it hobbled off, and they couldn't find it, but it killed the other 2. Well, these plumber guys just went ballistic. They went up to Shallah's store, and they were like, he intentionally ran these geese over, and like he deliberately did this. And Shallah was like, no, he didn't. I know this guy. It was an accident. He's lived here for months and months and months. He wouldn't do that on purpose. It was an accident.
And he went and told Shallah.
And he did.
He told Shallah. He said, I'm so sorry. I hit these geese.
He did. He told her, he said, I'm so embarrassed, and I'm sorry. I didn't see them. And Shallah told him, said, it's okay. They were, it's not like you ran over a kid. It's birds, people. Well, these plumbers, and Shallah told them, they said, y'all need to let this go, and y'all need to get back to work. And they were like, okay. So they went back to work. Well, later in the day, those same plumbers went to this guy's RV and was taking pictures of his pickup.
First of all, it's none of their business.
It's not any of their business. It's not any of their business, And while by this time, Shallah's like had it up to like here with these people and these gooses or whatever you call them. And in fact, Shallah told this guy that ran over him, she said, one of them that you killed was a jerk bird, and I'm glad he's dead.
It was a jerk.
He was a jerk bird.
He would take the food from all the other ones.
So yeah, but there's
always one in the little flock.
And Shallah had been dealing with this all day, and she was like had it because by now they're harassing her customer.
Exactly.
It's harassment now over birds.
Taking pictures.
Yeah. And so she called their company, and she told them, she said, okay, here's the deal. Here's what happened, and if y'all want to keep this contract, they will not be back out here. Well, the owner of the company did the right thing, and he was checking into it, and he ended up firing the supervisor of that group and wrote the other 4 or 5 up under disciplinary actions because that is just ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
I love animals.
I love animals
and
too.
I would never run over an animal on
purpose.
Well, except for the cow I ran over when Shallah was 3 because that's another story. but it's just ridiculous the way they acted, and it's not,
and it wasn't any of their business. And Shallah does know the customer and knows that he would never do that intentionally, and for them to think that he did,
to react like that,
that's childish.
It was just terrible.
That is terrible, but I'm glad that
it got resolved. But it was like this whole drama that lasted an entire work day.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
Wow, that is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. I guess we maybe could talk about some knitting.
Okay.
It's a knitting podcast.
It is.
First, I want to do a stash enhancement because we're at work. It's a stash enhancement that both of us have from a coworker.
Yes.
Yes.
So a coworker that doesn't even knit.
Nope, doesn't knit.
So this he works with me. He's on the same team I'm on. His name's Dave.
And I've worked with him before, so I know him as well.
He's a great guy. He went to Amsterdam with his niece. Him and his niece, every year they go on these elaborate vacations.
Last year he went to Russia. I told him
Russia.
that he had to get a Pilomeni spoon because I've got family from Russia.
Oh, cool. And so he asked me, he said, I'm going to Amsterdam. Is there anything you want? And I told him, I said, yes, there is. I said, I would really like you to go to Stephen and Penelope's yarn shop and just take a picture of the shop, and I'll send you that picture so you can.
I have it. I have a picture of him standing in front of Stephen and Penelope's
And then he
yarn
said,
shop.
"Is there anything else you want?" Okay, I'm not going to tell a man to go pick me out yarn.
Of course not.
So I told him, I said, "Well, I would like a coffee cup. Could you bring me and Carrie back a coffee cup?" And he said that he would, and he brought us back this little enamel coffee cup.
I have a picture that I'll insert, like I do with everything. This is where the pictures are going to come in. And now that we're podcasting in a different place, we're not going to have as much stuff here as we have at my house. So it'll be picture mania of inserting. So you just got to look up every once in a while.
And it's just the cutest thing. It has a white inside, and it's enamel. And I just think it's so cute.
And it came with a little needle conversion chart.
And I just thought it was so sweet of him to take the time and go, to go get us this cup. So my granddaughter Peyton, she collects coffee cups, and so this is just the cutest thing. So I am actually going to gift this to Peyton.
That'll be awesome.
So
I'm going to keep mine at home, but I bet you Antonio will drink out of it when he's at the house on the weekends.
And while we're talking about Stache enhancements, I have a friend that is a customer. And she's started as a customer, and then she has gotten to be a friend of mine. And her name is Jessica, and she's Army Wife Knitting Life on Instagram and probably Ravelry. But she's a young girl. She's like probably Shallahs' age, and she has a couple of kids. Her husband's in the Army. And
Army Wife Knitting Life?
Yeah. And so they're in Germany right now. And I had asked her if she could send me some... Shallah wanted these Haribo strawberry candies. So I wanted to get Shallah some for her birthday, but I wanted the real ones from Germany. So she sent me some Labello for Shallah and some of that candy for Shallah. Shallah was like ecstatic over that.
Yes.
Well, and I've created a monster.
You have created a monster.
Because now she's like me, and she's like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite chapstick ever. And I'm like...
Well, see, I created the monster
for me,
first, and then you created your next monster.
So I don't know how you're going to deal with us, but you better figure out a way.
Okay, I have a stash in the house. I have a stash of Labello in the house.
But, and then I had a couple, and I gave Brinley one, and Cecilia one when we went to Houston. So I think I have what's in here. But anyway, when Jessica sent me the stuff for Shallahs, she also included a skein of this Regia, and I've never knit with Regia, but I think these are what I'm going to cast on. This Regia sock yarn.
I have a picture to insert.
And it's the German flag, and I thought that's so awesome. So she sent me and Carrie both one. So thank you so much, Jessica.
Yes, thank you, Jessica. And I told my mother about it. I told my mother, I said, Darlene has this customer, it's a friend, sent yarn, self-striping, German flag. And my mother said, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to call Tanameki and see if she can send me some of that yarn so you can make me a pair of socks. Meki is her sister, my aunt, and still lives in Germany.
Carrie's from Germany.
Yeah, I'm from Germany, and my mother's German, and she's still a German citizen, even though she's lived here, like 40 years, whatever. So I said, Mom, I'll use this sock yarn that, Darlene's customer gave me, and I'll make you a pair of socks. And my mother, it was just exciting to me because my mother has never said, I'm going to have to call Tanameki, get some of that yarn, And so she was just excited because it's, her country's flag. It's not something you see here in the United States. So I'll be casting this on also soon for my mother, just plain vanilla. So yes, Jessica.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I mean, that was so sweet of her to send that.
Yes, it was.
So thank you.
And then we have some gradient yarn that we got. Now, Darlene has her skeins here to show. I don't have my skeins here to show, but I have some pictures to insert. So it's from My Melody by Wool Tram. It's an Etsy shop. And this one's hard to tell that it's a gradient. Again, pictures inserted, but this one's sparkly, and it goes from a light white to a darker cream on the outside. And then Darlene got this, it's tans and greens, and these are really big skeins. So there's like, 13 or 1800, it doesn't say the yardage on here. 950 meters.
Yeah, whatever that is.
I can't do that in my head, but 95, so a little bit over 1,030, 40 something. And I got some orange and then some grays, like 50 shades of gray type thing. And I started an Augusta shawl with my oranges because when we went on the cruise, we had a friend, Rosanna, who was making this Augusta shawl. I'll insert the picture of the start of mine.
So pretty. Well, I have mine too started.
It's like this big. But Rosanna has finished hers, and she made it with this yarn, which is, you know, why we both rented a shop and bought yarn. And I really wanted to make that Augusta shawl. It's crochet. It's not knitting, it's crochet.
But that yarn feels so good when it's knitted up. I mean, it don't really feel all that when it's like this.
It really doesn't.
But in that her shawl just was so like drapey and
it's very pretty. And I'm not sure, you know, how the difference of how well it will knit up versus how well it crochets up. But hers was a crocheted shawl, and she just went till she ran out of yarn through the whole cake or whatever. And so I got one, and that's what I'm planning on doing. And that's a whip of mine.
And I have another green one. This one was a swap. The owner of the shop and I did a swap, and I told her to surprise me, and she knows I love green, so she sent me this. But I bought another green that I'm making the Augusta shawl with that I've started. It's at home.
Yeah.
It's crocheted.
I'll insert pictures.
Now this, I'm hoping that it knits up good because
I'm sure it will.
I'm planning on making my future daughter-in-law a wedding shawl out of this. And I think instead of it being called White Christmas, it should be called Dirty Snow.
Oh, that would be nice.
It's brown and it kind of goes to white, but I think it's really pretty. So,
sorry, I think that made the camera kind of
mess
up, but that's okay. But yeah, that will be beautiful. I think it will be.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think it will be because you've got more of that.
Yeah,
bigger one.
I have a one that's twice that size.
So we kind of did stash enhancements and one of my whips, well, two of my whips. So the Augusta shawl, insert the picture, and of course we're working on Harry Potter socks. Do you want to go with the whip of yours?
Yeah, so the only whip that I'm actively working on right now, because I'm really trying to get some things finished, is my Find Your Fade. I mean, it's ridiculous that this thing has been on the needles for over a year. So I'm almost done. I'll be finished with it.
She'll take a picture of it and I'll insert it, but I'll hold this back.
And I'll be finished with it by the next podcast because I'm on the last lace section.
Last lace and then one more color.
But
it's beautiful.
It's just beautiful. I love it.
She'll take a picture and I'll get that uploaded.
You'll take a picture.
Yeah, I'll take a picture in here and get it uploaded.
So, and then my socks.
Her socks. I have one more whip that I'm working on. I also want to get a few things finished. I worked like crazy on Sock Madness, and I have that in FOs in a minute. And once I finished Sock Madness, I was kind of exhausted. And it's not finished by any means, but once I finished round 3, and it goes to 7 rounds. So I'm not finished with Sock Madness. Well, I'm finished, but Sock Madness isn't finished. Gosh, it took a long time to explain that. I was kind of just exhausted and needed something to work on, and I didn't know what to start or what to do. I should have started just some vanilla socks, but I thought, I need to finish something. So I pulled out a cowl that I started for Paige. It is a leaf lace scarf by Kaylee Harris. It's free on Ravelry. It's a scarf pattern. And I'll put a link in the show notes. And Paige found this picture of a finished cowl made with this pattern with this exact same yarn on Instagram. And she sent it to me a while back, like in August. And so the yarn is discontinued, but I found it. I found some on eBay and I found some on Ravelry. And I started it, I think, like back in August. And I thought, I'm just, I finished 1 skein already. I only have 4. So it wouldn't be too, long of a stretch to get this thing finished. So I decided not to start any new socks yet that I want to start. I want to start my Germany socks. I want to start Paige's Gryffindor socks. And I want to start a pair of socks for me with this new self-striping I got called As You Like It. But I thought, let me pull this out and see how far I can get. So I have a picture to insert, and it's not very far, and it's not blocked or anything like that.
So how many repeats of that pattern did you do? 4,
I think
the chart is...
I think this is 6.
6.
It's either 5 or 6, and the chart is 24 rows. So I'm either on my 5th or 6th repeat. But I am on my 2nd skein, and it's not full. It's like half. But they're 50-gram skeins. They're small skeins. Actually, they're 25 gram skeins. That's how small they are. So the whole thing is going to be like 100 grams, like, you know, one skein of fingering, but I think this is considered like a DK weight or something. Yeah, extra fine merino DK.
It's really pretty.
Sublime. It's kind of shiny. It's kind of lustrous, you know, type of thing. But anyway, so that's my last whip. And hopefully I'll be able to make some progress and finish some stuff. As I pulled that out and I was trying to decide what I wanted to, you know, work on, I pulled that out. There's a hat that I started for Paige in November of 2014. So we're going on 4 years now that this hat has been on the needles that I never finished. So after this cowl, I think I'm going to pull out that hat and see. I mean, it shouldn't take me more than a couple of days to finish that.
We just need to finish some things, you know. It's just crazy that we have all of this stuff and we haven't finished. So
yeah, but you know,
and that's why
I go through these ups and downs of, you know, cast on 78 things. Oh, look, I'm gonna finish one old thing.
And that's why I wanted to finish my fades, because I know I love it. I just haven't made it a priority. So it has been my priority for the past few weeks. But I did finish Casey's hat, his sock head hat.
I'm going to take a picture of it on the glass head and insert it here.
And then I'll mail it to him after Carrie gets through taking the pictures. But it's done, and it was so much fun to do.
You know how much she loves working with black. But she did it extra long. It's nice and extra long. And I like it. It looks great. I'll insert a picture. I have a few finished objects. So I think the last thing that I was showing you guys before on the end of the last podcast, I have my portage on, and I have some fingerless mitts, and I have a picture to insert, but I finished them. So I have a nice ivy pattern on one side.
I really like those.
And just a ribbing on the other.
Those are nice.
Fingerless.
Out of Carrie's yarn, of course.
Creative Obsession, Carrie's yarn. This is the Slothmas colorway. She had a kit with Darlene last year at Christmas for this yarn. So I finished those. I was also working on Sock Madness Round 2, which I completed. Again, I can insert a picture. But here they are. They're very large. I don't know anybody that they're going to fit.
Didn't Tammy want them? Or
Tammy said that she has really big feet if I don't have anybody else to send them to, but they might end up going to Tammy because I don't know anybody else to you know, give these to. I don't know anybody with really big feet, so except for Tammy. So Tammy, they're probably gonna be yours. And then round 3 came out, and I did start them kind of right away. I made myself finish the mitts before I let myself cast these on. So this pattern is called Safe Harbor. I'll put a, I'll insert a picture.
Like that pattern.
This is my 3rd skein of Harry Potter yarn from the 3-month Harry Potter Club kit. It was March's colorway. It's called Sirius's Gift. And it's really kind of a cool pattern. I've never done anything like this before. But on the pattern, they look like little bow ties. I don't know if I can get this in to see.
I like the lace on the side.
I'm just gonna have to insert a picture because this is gonna take.
I like that lace, like right there too.
Yeah, there's a nice lace down the side, and then I'll try and insert some pictures of some more detail. But I've never done a pattern like that. They look like little bow ties to me. So.
I think it's so cool.
And I did make it in to round 4. I finished number 12 in round 3 of my team. And so round 4, out of round 4, 10 will come. So if round 3 was round 4, I would not have made it. But round 4 pattern came out today.
It's so cool. You should make it.
And I am not making it. It is color work. I'm not good at color work. Color work, it sometimes frustrates me, and it has a dragon on it, and I'm just not a dragon person. It is a beautiful pair of socks. I don't mean anything. I'm just not a dragon person. But all the team names are named after dragons, like from a game or something. I don't know what game or whatever, but all the team names are named off of dragons. So I understand why there's a dragon on it. It's
What's
just
your team name?
I don't know how to say it. I'll have to say it. It's the C Team KO Sindar or something like that. CAELCYNDAR. I don't know. But I've already told them I'm not moving on. I'm going to stay in there and cheer everybody on and, you know, post in Ravelry and tell everybody how beautiful their socks are. But I'm out for the count. I'm amazed at how far I got.
I think you've
in
done
my first
great.
year.
You did 3 pairs of socks.
4.
4 pairs of
socks. I
socks.
did 4 pairs of socks, and
so you did the
qualification were the black with the colors on the top. I gave to my mother.
Yeah, and then the ones you gave
Rosanna, and then the neon, and then the Harry Potter.
Okay.
So 4 pairs, because one was a qualifying round.
Yeah.
So
and that's amazing.
So yeah, and they all had a pattern of some sort on them. So I'm not a pattern kind of gal, you know. So for me to have done 4 pairs and a pair of mitts in a pattern, something's wrong with me.
I think you did great.
So so like I said, I want to cast on some just plain vanilla socks with the different self-stripings that I have for my mom and for Paige, and I have some for myself that I recently got, and just done with Sock Madness. So
well, you did good, so I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I'm happy I did it. I'm happy I did it, and I'm ready to be done. My hands were kind of hurting towards the end of getting this last pair of socks done. So, but let's see. I did have a couple of announcements. So we have the Cal going on, the first ever Cal, and I never really said when it would end. And I know during I think it was the Cozumel podcast, I think I said it was going to end like at the end of April, but then I didn't really officially announce it on the podcast that it was going to end at the end of April. Like it wasn't official. So I'm going to end it in like a week or 2, like right before we podcast again, maybe either in a week or 2 or somewhere in the next few days. So get your entries in, post them in there. So we can do a random drawing. We have a bag. It's going to crinkle a little, but I don't want to take it out of the bag. So turn down your volume. We have a bag from Darlene. It's the cutest chickens ever. And I'm going to see if I have some yarn maybe in my stash that I can add to this. If I do, I'll insert a picture here of the yarn that I added with it.
Look, Jessica, your yarn matches so good.
It does, but we're not giving Jessica's yarn away. No. We love this yarn.
No, we're not, but it sure matches good.
Sure does match. Sure does match. So I do have that. And then also, do you guys want to do another Cal? You know, put some comments in the Ravelry group or down here on the YouTube channel or whatever if you want to do another one. I know this one was kind of long and we weren't really all that organized. We're kind of like, fly by the seat of our pants type of thing.
And, in summer, I don't know how everybody else's summers are, but, summers for me are like busy because, I have vacation and then vacation with the grandkids and stuff. So, I mean, I'm up to do whatever you want, but, I don't know if other people's summers are, Cal ready.
Yeah.
Or maybe we do some FO, finish your stuff, Cal.
Finish your whips or whatever. I mean.
So whatever y'all want to do, just let us know.
Yeah, let us know. We'll do something. And I think that's all we have. Oh, Paige is going to. There's an event in Austin this weekend. It's called Jammin Alya, but there's no A in the beginning. It's like JMBLYA, which is like, I guess, a play off the Cajun food, but it's a bunch of different singers and stuff. So I'll have Antonio all weekend, so we'll see how that goes.
This weekend, I've got to go try to find a new pair of motorcycle boots.
You don't like the ones you got yesterday?
No, I sent them back.
What about the ones that you really liked?
I'm going to hold off a couple of days, and we're going to go look and see, before I order another pair
online.
And we're just going to go look around Saturday and see if I can find some. My motorcycle boots are 14 years old, and they've been great. They've been great boots, but they're like
worn.
They're just
out.
They're worn out.
Sometimes it's just time to get another. Oh, yeah. I have to show you this lotion that Darlene got. It's like a stash. I ended up buying some. It is called Monkey Farts. I will insert a picture if I have a picture to take.
I think it's awesome.
It does not smell anything like monkey farts or what you would think monkey farts smell like.
It has a banana flowery smell.
Yeah, that's what Paige said. I got 2 and I gave one to Paige, and it has fresh goat milk, distilled water, sunflower oil, olive oil, emulsified wax, stearic acid, coconut oil, Optifin Plus, preservative, and fragrance oil. And it feels so good. It's from Fresh and Fancy. I think they're an Etsy shop.
They are. I bought it strictly for the name, Monkey Farts, and they have another one that I'm going to buy that's called Dirty Dog. I mean, that just sounds hilarious.
That does sound hilarious, but it does smell really good, and it feels really great on my hands.
It does feel really good.
Yeah, so I'm not one to put lotion on a whole lot, but you know, we've had a rougher than normal winter, and I've kind of gotten used to putting lotion on, and my hands kind of like it.
I use a lot of lotion.
I don't.
So
I have to be honest, I don't, but I do. When I do put it on, I enjoy it. So.
But I just think it is nice lotion, but the name of it is what got me.
Monkey Farts.
Monkey Farts.
Well, I think we're getting to the end of our lunch hour.
Yeah.
And to the end of what we had to talk about. I'm surprised we didn't have more to talk about.
So.
But thanks for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you in 2 weeks with this new place of recording.
Yeah, and let us know what you think. You know, do you like was it okay?
Does it matter? Is it all right?
Yeah, do y'all care? So,
yeah.
But thanks for joining us.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.